All right, Paulie Malignaggi, mate, down under here in Australia. First impressions of Brisbane.
Rainy. First impressions is the rain, but I've met some. Everybody's been lovely so far. It's been nice to be here. And honestly, not as tired as I expected to be, considering I got here earlier today. I feel good.
Nikita Tszyu, Michael Zerafa. You've seen much of Nikita Tszyu. Obviously, Michael Zerafa in there with Lara a couple of years back. But what have you seen of Nikita Tszyu?
Nikita, for me, has some talent. He's a bit raw, an energetic kid who can punch. He brings a decent pace, a decent energy to the fight. And for me, that's the question mark of the fight. Is Zerafa's veteran craftiness enough to offset the youth energy of Nikita Tszyu? And that's sort of the storyline for me in the fight.
The experience factor, how much of a role does that play in a fight?
It plays a big role, but also the young energy plays a big role as well. The experience factor, when you get a little bit older, you don't have as much, you have a bit of wear and tear on you, so you don't have as much ability to be in a drag out through the mud kind of fight if it goes there, right? You don't have as much ability to do that anymore because you've been a bit worn out, you've got a lot of experience. But at the same time, so the experience can also allow you to offset that youth energy. So that's really the question mark. Nikita doesn't have the experience, so Zerafa could be tricky. But a lot of times that energy overtakes that experience. So it's going to be a matter of how their styles gel together. And I think we'll find that very early. Can Zerafa's craftiness and veteran intelligence offset the pace a little bit of Nikita, offset his energy a little bit, make him overthink, make him less confident. There's going to have to be some things early in the fight that he's going to do that, because if Nikita gets off to that energetic start and starts scoring and starts landing well, it's going to be tough for the older fighter.
There's been some, comments out there that perhaps this is too early for Nikita Tszyu. Your thoughts on that?
I'll say this. In pro boxing today, I notice a lot of prospects get moved much faster. I personally, have a different take on it. I think it's the value of money diminishing, so the people don't want to spend as much money because your dollar is diminished in value now. So continuing to put money into a prospect, it ends up becoming more expensive today than it was yesterday, right? You think of the super amateurs today. They fight for world titles in 5 fights. Yeah, you think about Tszyu. He was also a super amateur. Still took him about 15 fights even back then, right? So you think I just see that the people want to move guys faster now because they don't want to spend as much money into a prospect. You see it all over the world. It's not just with Nikita, but sometimes it winds up being a little too soon. I mean, we've seen Olympic medalists get knocked off. We've seen guys who were super amateurs get knocked off. Lomachenko got beat in his second pro fight. So it can happen. So the question is always going to be there today about whether it's a little too soon for a young prospect or not. Is Zerafa too soon? The thing is moving Nikita to contender level too soon is one thing. Is Zerafa too soon? Because is Zerafa considered a contender level at this point? Or is Zerafa a big name in Australia who has had his day but may not be at contender level anymore? I think Saturday gives us a lot of these answers, and that's why we have this fight.
That Lara fight that Michael fought in, I assume you saw that fight. He got stopped early. What did you see? What did you make of that stoppage? The Quinlan fight, the Lara fight. What do you make of that?
There's been nights where Zerafa shows up and he doesn't show up mentally. It seems like he's not there. But then you think of the fight he went to Sheffield against Kell Brook. That's not an easy atmosphere. You go to Kell Brook and go to Sheffield and fight Kell Brook, and he went 12 and he fought. So I can't say that if I hadn't seen the Kell Brook fight, I would say maybe this guy has a little bit of an issue in big moments, or even the Jeff Horn win, right? But there's been nights where he shows up, so you can't quite say it like that. I'll probably say there's a bit of a, shall we say, split personality as Zerafa, where at certain points he's in a big moment and he knows how to show up. And at certain other moments, the big moment is there and somebody has to remind him, hey, mate, it's a big moment, you got to show up, So at this point in time, I don't think at his age and at his point in his career, he can't afford that mistake anymore. So if he's going to show up Saturday, it's got to be totally there, because I've been in his position. You don't get too many more of these opportunities if you let them slip through your fingers.
Tszyu, what have you made of his last 18 months? Obviously, he's parted ways at the same team Nikita's got now. What did you make of that? And I guess Tszyu's career these past 2 years or so.
Tim has to make some decisions that are right for Tim. People are going to agree, people are going to disagree, but as a fighter, you have your window, and it's your time. And I came to a point in my career where I wanted to say, I'm gonna live and die by my decisions, because if it doesn't work out, I can live with my decisions. But there had been situations that I got myself into with other people's decisions, and it was hard to swallow when they didn't work. So I don't blame Tim. Listen, there is sentimental value there with the team that he had. It's his family and whatnot, and of course that's understandable. But what's also understandable from a fighter's perspective is that a fighter wants to live and die with his decisions, and I think Tim is going to make this last run on his decisions, and I respect him for it. Having said that about his last fight, I think he's got to build some confidence. He's got to build on the win. How much of Tim has been taken away confidence-wise in these last couple of years still remains yet to be seen. Could have probably not done with the Murtazalia fight, right, after the Fundora fight. And then maybe after the Murtazalia fight, looking back, everything's 2020 in hindsight, right? Maybe you take a little bit of off the touch before going back in with Fundora. But these are all things we know later, because let's face it, Tim is also in his 30s, so you don't have a lot of time to say, oh, we can take our time bringing him back. There's a piece of you that says, oh, we got to bring him right back. So yeah, everything's 2020 in hindsight, but let's see how his career progresses here.
Is there an argument that, Tim's fought Fundora, he's fought Bakram, guys like Enes Ortiz, they haven't sort of fought those guys yet? We don't know how good Tszyu or how bad Tszyu is. Is that a fair sort of argument you could make?
Listen, I'll tell you what, Tszyu was very good. Whether he's still very good remains to be seen, because these kind of fights and these kind of experiences change you, unfortunately. I would like to say he's still very good. When I first saw Tszyu, I saw a very good fighter. Coming up the ladder, I saw a very good fighter. That kick and fight. But the situations he was put in were not so advantageous for him. You're getting ready to fight a 5'11" former welterweight champion, and instead you take on a 6'6" southpaw. 5'11" was a right-hander, southpaw, who's a natural junior middleweight, probably moving on to middleweight soon, on 3 weeks' notice. Most guys would have said no. You give him credit, but then if you say you got to give guys credit for taking the tough fights, what credit was he given? The reward was Murtazalia, a guy nobody wants to fight. He had to go there. That was his reward. Now then you see why guys don't want to take tough fights. You say, oh, why guys don't want to take tough fights? A loss is nothing. Yeah, is a loss nothing? Look what they did to Tszyu when he bent over backwards for the promotion, trying to save the pay-per-view, trying to save the show, and take on the replacement guy in front of him, who is not to what he had prepared for at all. So, I think, again, looking back, everything's 2020 in hindsight, but, will Tszyu return to the level that I thought he was going? That remains to still be seen. He got a good win last fight, still some things to work on for sure, but let's see how he goes from here.
Last one, Jai Opetaia. Have you seen much of Jai Opetaia? What have you made of his career?
I think he's the best cruiserweight in the world right now. I think Opetaia is actually scary at cruiserweight. The thing about the cruiserweight division is guys don't last that long here in this weight class to really cement themselves at this weight. There's always a passing through to the heavyweight division. And people say, okay, it's not a way, it's always a crossing through to the heavyweight division. But lately, we've had some good cruiserweights. Usyk crossed through the cruiserweight division before having success at heavyweight. So Opetaia, his success at cruiserweight now, I think it reverberates a bit more. It's not just a weight class where you're like, we're going to be there and he's going to move to heavyweight. I think he's a scary cruiserweight. He's a big cruiserweight. He's a scary cruiserweight. I'd like to see him get the winner of Benavidez and Zurdo. I'd probably favor him against both. But we'll see if it happens. If not, yeah, there's probably not any cruiserweights that can be in the ring with him.
Nice one, mate. Always appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Cheers.